So I don't know if you want to take it from where you left off, or do you want to go into the next question?
It's up to you, I guess. I guess what was the last bit of that? It was
Were you done?
I think so. It's mostly
Okay.
just like, yeah, follow your passion. College is important. It's great to get you the foot off that you need, but really where you learn anything, and where you grow is through experience.
Definitely. Yep. Wise words right there. Okay, so um this is going into part 2 of, like, it'll go into your next video. So the next question would be, um what softwares what softwares do you recommend to do motion capture?
Well, the baselines of what you need are whatever system that you're using will have some sort of uh, integrated software that is made for the recording. For our system, we use Cortex. For a Vicon system, you'll use Shogun. For OptiTrack, they have their own solving software. There's the one that, oh, geez, the guy that did Avatar, James Cameron. James Cameron developed a system all his own that's called Lightstorm,
Oh,
which is
wow.
incredibly in depth. One of our sister studios, Infinity Ward, has a Lightstorm system, and it's fantastic. It's really cool. So each of them has their own integral system that goes with it. So it all kind of depends on what system and what cameras you're using.
Yeah, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when they were making the first Avatar. You
Right?
know, okay, right, doing the whole motion capture stuff. I don't know anything about it, and I would have loved to be there just to witness all of that
It,
type of work.
it's so crazy too, seeing the behind the scene aspect of it, because it just
Hmm,
looks like it's a bunch of people in funny suits walking around in their underwear.
with like ping
And
pong balls on their bodies or
yep.
whatever.
And then
I, I
what it
saw I saw
becomes
clips
is,
of it.
oh,
I saw clips of it, but to
mm.
actually be there in person to see it, I would love to see something like that.
Oh,
I've never experienced that.
one of the best behind the scenes motion capture things, if you haven't seen it, is when in the Hobbit movie they had Benedict Cumberbatch doing the voice of Smaug. And as part of that, he wanted to like imbibe his character into it more. So he didn't need the motion capture suit at all for any of his performance. It was just so that they had some motion and kind of thing like that, so he could get into it. But he's like crawling on the ground in the suit and stuff, and he's just like getting real into it. It's like, we're not using any of this, but this is great.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and just like seeing like that aspect of getting into it plus like we did a promotion thing a while back where we got to record animation for Godzilla
Mhm. Mhm.
and King Kong, because there was a Godzilla versus King Kong thing. So doing
Yeah.
monsters and
Nice.
stuff like that and getting to project that, because you're just using the actor to do it, but
Mhm.
getting that translation of stuff like that and getting to like really get into the creature aspect of it and the monsterness is so much fun. It's so cool to see.
So you only do video, right? You don't do audio recording?
Correct. We do technically record some aspects of audio, but most of it is just throwaway stuff. It's just to line things up. Uh,
Oh, okay.
the correlation, like the integration that we need to have for a lot of that with the Actors Guild that we use,
Mhm.
you have to be under a very specific type of contract to be able to use
Right.
recorded audio in a
Mhm.
production.
Oh,
And
yeah.
because we're mostly stunt actors and stuff like that, we're not using the main cast for a lot of the stuff that we do, um, just because it's more physically demanding given the nature of the game that we're doing, that it's not really the best option to have people who are trained voice actors and trained performance actors to be doing like, I'm going to jump out of this helicopter onto a roof and then slide down 3 stories. It's not necessarily conducive to have them be in the space for that. Um,
Okay, so you guys don't have an in-house studio where you do, like, record your, where do you
we
record the voice actors? Like,
we do have a recording studio. We do have a whole audio department that works on a lot of that
oh,
stuff.
that was my next question. Cool. You ever go by there and check out the audio part, the whole recording process at all?
I've seen little bits and pieces of it, and I've seen like the recording booths that they do performance capture stuff in, because like we have a facial capture system that we use as well,
Okay.
and when we have to do dialogue stuff, we have to have them in like a small enclosed sound room. So
Okay.
they have this little soundproof closet basically that they stick the actors in.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten to witness that. I've never
Like
personally
a
been in one, but
we
it's
call that a vocal booth or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that's a cool process. That's my domain right there, the whole recording thing. But I like working with video too. But like,
It would be fun to learn more about that because like it's something that I have a cursory knowledge of. Like I know enough to kind of understand what they're doing, but not like the intricacies of it. And I know that that
right?
gets really crazy.
Yeah, it's different. There's so many different avenues and so many decisions to make when it comes to recording and mixing engineering. It's kind of trippy.
Uh, yep.
What type of computers do you recommend for motion capture?
Something with a very large CPU bandwidth, mostly because we're dual running a lot of processes.
Uh huh.
So we have to have the recording software going that has to be that's integral. It has to be running very quickly. We have our live streaming stuff that is vital for our review process. So we're running Motion Builder as well, and then uh, we have Maya that we're transfer stuff into.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do the Maya stuff necessarily directly on stage when we're recording, but for the recording process itself, we're capturing stage audio, we're capturing the motion capturing, and we're live streaming stuff.
Okay.
So you have to have a pretty decently beefy CPU. Like we have a Xeon processor with I think it's like 12 a 12 core kind of thing like that running most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 168 gigs RAM. We got an SSD capturing stuff like that. So everything we can do to make it fast,
Mm-hmm.
because everything's integral to that being with as little latency as possible.
Okay. So are you a gamer? Do you still do gaming?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
don't play there is like the separation of like the work and play kind of thing like that. So I don't really play the Call of Duty games as much in my own spare time anymore.
Okay.
I did initially when I was starting to, but then it was just like it's hard to enjoy it because it still feels like you're at work.
Right. Right.
Um, so a lot of the games that I play now are more fantasy based, just because it's a different takeaway from it.
Give me
So
two of
like
your favorites. Give me two of your favorite games.
uh, Dark Souls and Elden Ring, both of them are from software
I
games.
have
Those are
Elden
my
Ring. I
top.
love it. I mean, I pretty much suck at it, but I love Elden Ring. Okay, I just
It's
love it.
so good.
Yes, yes. We could talk about that at a later time. But I have a couple of friends that are gamers, and they're just sick about that Elden Ring.
It, uh, got that opening weekend, took the whole day to just go freaking crazy on it. I'm through my third playthrough now. I have a tattoo of the rings on my forearm now.
You do? Oh, you are a
I went
fan. Oh my
I went
goodness.
hard.
You went really hard.
Yeah, anything Hidetaki Miyazaki works on is like that's my jam.
Oh
Like
wow.
all the games in the all the games in the Dark Souls series, Bloodborne, Demon
Uh
Souls,
huh.
Elden Ring,
Right.
everything has just been so good.
I wish I would have known that about you. We could have talked about that a long time ago. Anyway, the next question is, can you explain the different types motion traction you do? Do you do positional tracking or something like 3D motion tracking?
It's most of it is the 3D motion tracking,
Okay.
because that's what our optical system that we are primarily running is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's most of what we do for Call of Duty.
Okay.
But we do also do facial capture using faceware, so that has a small, like 60 frame per second camera that's attached to a little bar that's under the chin,
Mm-hmm.
and it sits out a few inches away from the actor's face.
Okay.
So we're recording a 2D image of that, basically, recording or video of that, and then we use a separate software called Faceware that you can use positional tracking off of key nodes
Mm-hmm.
that are like track around your lips, check around your eyes, track your pupils and all of your expressions, stuff like that. So you're able to take the video and build a framework basically on top of that that you use to then track all of the facial movements, and then processing through that, you can directly put that into an animation software like Maya and use that to create the facial animations. And it'll, based off of a model that you build while you're tracking it, you're able to integrate that and then tweak it and optimize it, and you're able to get facial animation through that. So that's another form of motion capture that we do.
Okay. So I'm going to rephrase this next question a little bit because I know you guys don't do the music side of things, but
Mhm.
after all of that motion tracking is completed and to formulate that into an actual game, does that get sent off to audio people and they add the sound design, sound effects, and the audio to it?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have a whole audio team that's fantastic at their job.
Okay.
They do a lot of the scores. They do all the noises and stuff, like everything. Like if you have animation for everything like that, that's great. But if there's no noise to anything like that, there's no sound, you don't really get into it. So that builds that atmosphere.
Hmm.
That the audio team and the lighting team are fantastic
Are
at
they
just really building that.
are they based where you're at?
Yep.
You have an audio team in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Oh, cool. You have to tell me about them. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, what's the next question? Let's see. What do I have here? I have something here. What is considered post motion motion tracking, or do you do motion tracking in post editing?
So the post end of mocap is taking all of the informational data that we recorded during the day, and then basically cleaning it up. As good as our
Right.
system is, there's still going to be jitter. There's going to be points where a marker falls off,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the nature of like the stunts that we're doing. And it's taking all of that, manicuring it, and cleaning it and making it look clean. Because like there's if because they're just little foam balls with tape on them, basically. So if one of those is falling apart or it falls off or something like that, we can digitally replace that based off of the skeletal system that we build within that. You build a marker set that is kind of a template,
Mm-hmm.
and it's playing connect the dots basically on where that lost marker should be.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our post editing is just cleaning and manicuring that data so that it looks and performs the way that we want it to. And then using that data, we can then apply it to a skeleton, which then gets applied into an actual game rig. And then that game rig gets sent off to the animators, and they can use that clip that we processed out from that to be able to do the post polish and cleaning and the integration.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that if like one of the balls fall off. You it's kind of like having a backup, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And
At the beginning of each of the sessions that you do a template of each actor because because the cameras only see them as a floating cloud of balls.
mm-hmm.
Um, you basically set a template that is like this configuration of balls is this person,
Mm-hmm.
so that the system knows who it is, so it can identify them and it can retain all the data that you're capturing to that template.
Wow.
And because you have that decently well established template, you're able to take that and then interpolate any of the lost data in a way that is actually usable and reconstructible.
That's pretty cool, Nick. Amazing. But I guess that goes with anything. Once you create something, you should always have some kind of backup. So
Mhm.
didn't know you could do that in motion capture though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And some of the things that you're able to recreate, like it takes time on that end. It's unfortunately not just hit the button and go, but a lot of the back end stuff like that, it does take time and careful manicuring to make sure that it looks correct.
Right.
But that you're able to like recreate a whole arm that like someone fell on, basically, is phenomenal. That the software can handle that.
It is. But like when you work, like we mentioned about how you work with when the clients show up. So do you guys just
Mhm.
instruct them on how to work around in the suit? Like how do you approach it with when a new client shows up to do
Well,
motion
mo
capture?
most of our actors we've retained for a decently long time.
Okay.
We try to keep people that we keep the people that are good
Okay.
because like you have a considerable amount of training and investment in any actor that you use because you're teaching them how to be a Call of Duty soldier or
Right.
a certain character kind of thing like that. And it's not just like, oh, you need to hold this gun and walk
Right.
kind of thing like that. It's like, oh, you have to, we have military trainers and stuff like that that come in and they'll do instruction. We have uh,
So
a
they
bunch of character actors that do very specific roles and stuff like that. So
That's
that you're,
cool. So they do
yeah,
like the position when you stand in a position to shoot the gun and you're like ducking out the way for
yep,
oncoming fire and they do all of that in the suits.
yep, yep. We
Was
have
that
like
fun? Is that fun?
yeah, it's really cool, guys, and it's fun to get to see as part of the thing grows too, because like we'll have a lot of the actors that are newer and fresher that come in, and they have a sense of it, and you can tell them kind of what to do, and they'll
Hmm.
get the idea of it. But then we have the training days where they come in and they get actual instruction from a military advisor, and it's like this is how you move in this formation kind of thing. Like, this is how you hold this correctly. This is how you check around a corner. This is how you do all this kind of stuff,
Okay.
like all the tactical aspects that is supposed to be second nature and ingrained into a
Hmm.
soldier that would be out in active duty, um, that wouldn't necessarily apply to a an actor that's just kind of coming in and like, yeah, I can play soldier number seven that's sitting in the back there,
Okay.
but if you have to get up and move, like now this is where it becomes important to have that kind of ingrained knowledge. And most of our actors that have been there for a while now have all of that experience. They have all the knowledge. They've done multiple training sessions, so they are like second nature, able to just adapt to that. So every scene is kind of enhanced by their ability to be able to recreate that environment and atmosphere and mood very quickly and readily because they're just used to it.
Okay, cool. So were you ever a musician in life?
Yes, I picked up the violin this year, and I that is my New Year's resolution to try and be able to play at least one song by the end of this year.
Really? That
Yep.
oh wow, you're taking up violin. Wow. I thought you told me you were into guitar a long time ago.
Well, I have two guitars, and they've collected dust for many years.
Are they brand names or they're just
One is a lion, and the other is a jasmine.
okay? Okay,
So they're beginner
right,
ones. Like
exactly.
they're the ones I've had since high school. That I used to play in high school, and I was always okay at it, but I didn't really ever excel at it.
Uh
And I once college hit, there just wasn't room in dorm room for a guitar.
huh.
So I was like, well, I'll come back to it. And
Right,
then after college, it's like, well, now I'm working all the time and I'm really busy.
right.
So now that I've kind of gotten my stride and stuff like that again, and I'm kind of comfortable where I am, it's like, well, now I have some time to expand this. Like, let's take a look back at this. And my wife has been wanting to get back into orchestra stuff for a while.
Okay,
She used to do French horn
nice.
back in high school, but she's always been interested in string instruments. So I got her a cello for Christmas this year.
Wow,
So
nice.
she has a cello, and I have a violin, and I'm going to try and keep up with her.
Okay, hey, go for it. I mean, I've been trying to learn to play guitar and bass forever, so um okay. So you do what? Let's see. Next question is: do you or your brother sing?
No. Oh well, my brother, he did choir for a while.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if he did any like more like solo singing or anything like that. But I know he did do choir for a bit.
Okay,
Uh,
but your brother was also in the music, right?
Yes, yeah, he's a fantastic musician. He can basically pick up any instrument and just play it. And
Oh, don't you
it's
hate
he's an
those
asshole like
people?
that. It's so rude.
How dare
Like no,
he do that, right?
he is he is brilliantly musically gifted. Him and my mom both just got that, and I've never been able to keep up with it.
Okay.
But
What's what's your
they're both
what's your
amazing.
brother's name?
Joseph.
Okay, you have to tell Joseph about me because would love to chat with him about the whole music stuff one day.
Hmm.
But right now I'm hating on him because he's so gifted.
Yeah.
uh, let's see. Next question is, oh, we can skip that one because I was going to ask you, will you ever get back into music? But you purchased a violin, so you're
Yep.
getting back
It's green too.
green.
Yep.
Okay, you have to send me a picture of that, and I can add it to the podcast if you send me a pic of that.
Okay.
And but are you taking lessons or are you just doing a YouTube thing?
Right now I'm just kind of starting off with YouTube and
Okay.
stuff like that, just kind of getting used to it. I got a sticker fretboard thing that I'm trying to learn on.
Okay.
So it's slow going on it. Had a hell of a time keeping it in tune. I don't know if that's just because it's a cheap violin,
Oh,
or what, but like it does not want to stay in tune. So that's been a little bit of a battle.
okay. So is there anything else in life you would like to do besides your current career? And so you're saying the music thing, right?
Well, I'd love to definitely get better at music. If I had to choose like what I would do as an alternate like ideal career path,
Mm-hmm.
uh, doing something in a WITA workshop honestly would be just so cool. Like the practical props and stuff like that that they do, like all the sculpting, all the big monster stuff, the armor, and just every day is something completely different that is so cool.
Okay, you said do a what?
WITA workshop.
Okay, and what does that
Uh,
consist of?
They are a studio that does a bunch of like do mocap, they do
Okay.
movie props, they do like they were the guys that made all of the armor for the Lord of the Rings
Oh,
movies.
wow.
And they do puppets, they do just huge practical props for things.
Okay.
And they're all like it's if you see a lot of like the big Hollywood blockbuster type prop things, a lot of them have probably been done by them.
Nice. That would be something. That would be something interesting to try.
Yeah, it'd be a ton of fun, just like because it every day presents a different challenge, and it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. And
Okay.
that's a part of the fun of the things that I get to do in mocap here too, actually, is like I have a couple of 3D printers that I run for the mocap space, so I'm able to print off props of the game of the weapons and objects that we have in game. So if like we need a pair of binoculars, or we need a specific camera, or we need a very specific gun weapon or something like that, I can take the in-game prop asset, and then I can go and 3D print it, so we have it in the virtual and in the physical space, so that the actors are able to interact with something that is an exact one-to-one of what they would be using.
Okay.
So I
So
get to do a lot of that kind of stuff, which is a ton of fun.
okay. So that's what you aspire to do, um, other than what you're doing right now.
Yeah, it is something that I'm very passionate about. That I'm glad that I get to integrate it.
Okay. So will you
It's
be
just a
doing
lot of
this in
fun.
5 years? You think?
I hope so.
I know you'll definitely be involved in tech because we're
Yeah.
techies, but
Oh yeah.
um, there might be an area you want to elevate in within a 5 year goal.
Um, yeah, I mean, most of it right now is really it's kind of just getting better at everything that I'm doing
Right.
within my current sphere of things. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like it, there are places I would like to expand to in what we're able to do,
Okay.
and we're currently working on some of them. But I don't know, everything about what I get to do now is kind of great.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
wonderful.
hoping that I get to do this in 5 years still,
Okay,
and
cool.
to still be passionate about it as I am now.
So, are you and your wife involved in any kind of charity work you want to talk
Not
about?
since COVID had started, really, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Like we do what we can for donations and giving and stuff like that, but we
hmm
haven't been actively involved in a lot of things.
that's fine though. You know, that's still considered charity work when you donate Even if you donate online, it's still charity.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's not charity when you just click on your debit or credit card and pay it. But hey, you're still doing something. You're still doing something special. So, because
Yeah.
I occasionally don't donate to St. Jude's and American Red Cross when there's like a disaster, like a hurricane or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So we are at the fun part of the podcast that everybody loves, which is the rapid fire questions. Yay!
Yay.
Okay, so I'm going to shoot you some rapid fire questions, and then that would probably be the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite food?
Mac and cheese. Buffalo chicken mac and cheese
Oh.
specifically.
Okay. That sounds good. Sounds yummy. Okay. Favorite drink?
Depends on the day, but either a really good whiskey or some sort of stout. Any beer that is dark enough that you can't see light through. That's my go-to.
I love that analogy. That's so Wisconsin. Okay, favorite album or artist?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a hard one for everybody.
There, it's one of those like day dependent things. Like if I need to get somewhere really quick and I'm driving, I gotta put on some Rob Zombie. Like that's
Okay.
that's my drive fast music.
Okay.
If I just want to kind of low key and hang out and just listen to music, I'll put on something like I Fight Dragons or just something that's a little bit more up and cheery kind of thing like that. If I'm working, I'll have some sort of EDM stuff on, just something rhythmic.
Okay.
Uh,
I like EDM. That's cool. That's fine. The last one is favorite quote or best advice?
oh, so favorite quote.
Or best
Um,
advice?
well, couple of the ones that have always stuck with me was like everyone you meet has something to learn from
Mm-hmm.
or to gain.
Mm-hmm.
So listen and take from every experience, take from everyone that you meet just like the experience that they offer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then another one what was the phrasing of it? There's no more wisdom to be gained in order than in chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that always resonated with me. It's like you can try and have a plan for things. You can try and keep everything in line, but where you really learn stuff is when the shit hits the fan and
Right.
then you're forced to adapt and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where you really grow.
Exactly. Exactly. Usually when it's an emergency, that's when you get your best lessons in life.
Yep.
Um,
Unfortunately.
yeah, but that's how life is, right?
Yep.
And it makes you grow up faster. But you know what, Nick? This has been totally like the one of the best experiences I've ever had doing a podcast. You're super awesome, of course. And, my bad for not keeping in touch, you know, for the
Well, it's my
audience.
fault too.
The audience, we have not seen each other, spoken to each other in 10 years for being classmates and everything. But we graduated. We got degrees. Yay.
Yay.
Um,
Yeah, thank you for having me on and reaching out. Like it's been a ton of fun just getting to catch up and just kind of talk about where we've been and what we've been doing.
well, you guys knew I was into music. I mean, kind of, sort of. But, I was trying to do the tech thing too. But my love for music is it's like an addiction. It's not going to go anywhere. And it's been with me since I was 6 years old. So I don't think I'm going to be giving that up anytime soon. And it was behind me creating the podcast because I know gamers, I know people who are in the films, and I know producers, in California, New York, Atlanta, Chicago. I've met a lot of people since I joined all different types of organizations. So they want to talk. I created the podcast so we can all just talk about it. But but thanks for spilling the tea with she and participating in this podcast. it means the world to me because I know you're a busy guy and you took time out your schedule to do this.
Well, happy to do it. And thanks again for having me on. This was great.
Okay, if you want to come back and do something, talk about something, let me know and I'll put you on. And get in touch with your brother because tell him I like to talk some music with him too if he's interested. Only if he's interested because a lot of people are audio shy or video shy. So,
Yeah.
no pressure.
I'll let him know.